Rallying is one of the most dangerous driving disciplines. Rally drivers set their best times in tough, all-terrain courses in modified road cars. Rallying is almost as old as the motor car itself. And today's high-octane World Rally Championship draws legions of fans. It requires dexterity, lightning-quick reactions, and bravery that borders on the insane. Rallying is about the synergy between man and machine. It's not enough to drive the car, you really need to know its limits. There's one car that's been linked to rallying for the last 50 years. It's a national icon familiar to millions, and the car I learned to drive in at the age of 14. Today, I'm getting back behind the wheel of one for my first taste in rallying. It's the Great British Mini. The Mini, for me, is a sign of my liberation, right? I saved up some money and I bought a car and I drove it to school every day, and it was a Mini Clubman. To buy a car at 14, one must have facial hair, okay? Because when you have facial hair at 14, people don't question your age. I'm not proud of my early exploits, but for me, it's where it all began. It was definitely the moment for me where I was like, right, I've got a little freedom, you know? I could drive anywhere I wanted, you know, it was amazing. Before the Mini came along, family cars were cumbersome to say the least. Sir Alec Issigonis's revolutionary design changed all that.
We got to make a car, a very small car, for the housewife.
Its small size made it great around town and surprisingly versatile on a rally stage. To everyone's surprise, it was a Mini that won the 1964 Monte Carlo Rally with an Irishman at the wheel, Paddy Hopkirk. You were massively, successful, and people knew who you were, you know what I mean? What was that like driving for your country and sort of,
Well, I think not many people went to Monte Carlo in those days, and I started from Russia, so it got the press imagination.
Yeah.
And then it was a surprise when we were against a lot more competitive cars, Mercedes of Germany, people with much bigger budgets. So we surprised ourselves and the world by winning it with a little district nurses car called the Mini.
Yeah.
The Mini was designed as a cheap family car, and then John Cooper put a little Formula Junior engine in it, and they did it as a souped-up model, really. The Cooper, that was the Mini Cooper.
What was it about front-wheel drives that had an advantage over other rally cars, do you think?
Well, front-wheel drive in those days was quite unique. Putting the engine sideways for a start got the engine right over the driving wheels, so everything was on the front, and what the back did didn't really matter too much.
Its front-wheel drive technology was game-changing at the time.
You ready, boss?
Yes, boss.
My co-driver. Just brings it all back how bloody uncomfortable it was.
Paddy was probably one of the first personalities to come from rally driving. Woo! I'm learning from you.
Don't do what I do, just do what I say.
Yeah, he's amazing. This guy's 80 years old. 80 years old. He's whipping that car. It's amazing. And now I get to drive. Did you film me trying to get in? I loved rally driving, man. When I was a kid, I loved it. The Mini's been stupidly successful as a rally car, which is what makes this really, really exciting.
Right, the police are behind us. Hold inside, let's go. We've got the doors.
No power steering, no ABS, and definitely no traction control. This is as basic as it gets.
60 seconds for this, probably. Very good in there. Whoops, whoa!
Did you just scream? I think I heard you scream.
No, you didn't. Keep the left here. Left. Brake. Very good, very good.
That's much bigger than me.
I'm no Paddy Hopkirk, but this is wicked.
Perfect.
It's just like bombing around the old streets of East London all over again.
As they say in Ireland, you drive well.
Yes, all this man in that small car.
He's gone.
It's good, and Paddy was giving me lots of good pointers there.
I can see how difficult it is to drive that darn thing, and I'm looking forward to see how he gets on in the proper cars now. You'll enjoy it.
The Mini's design remained unchanged for decades. That was until this came along, the Mini Metro. The Metro was built in an era when rallying got a little out of hand.
These days, top rally cars pack a very powerful punch, 400 horsepower.
In an effort to boost the spectacle of rallying, in 1982 the top tier was divided into two classes, Group A for modified road cars and Group B for prototype cars, with virtually no restrictions on power.
New Audi Quattro Sport takes a lot of handling.
The new class started an arms race for ever more powerful machines.
Four people killed, 31 injured.
I am not prepared to go on as a driver, irrespective. No way.
I'm not going.
A spate of driver and spectator deaths finally forced the governing body to act, and Group B was banned in 1987.
One of the world's top rally drivers, Henri Toivonen of Finland, has been killed. The car hit a rock and burst into flames.
To show me how the humble Mini grew into a Group B monster is someone who survived the experience.
The winner of the 1986 Circuit of Ireland Rally.
Di Llewellyn.
How will you celebrate tonight?
Plenty of Guinness. And a couple of these young ladies, I think.
Now this, is it really called a Mini or is it a Metro?
Well, it's a Mini Metro 6R4, we called it in rally terms. And basically because it's 6 cylinders and 4-wheel drive.
So basically Group B was a Frankenstein car. You could do what you want, right? You could just bolt it together and race it.
If you built 200 of them, you could basically go rallying with it.
And what made this one so fast?
Well, when you put 400 horsepower in a Mini, make it as light as possible, it's going to go fast, isn't it? Yeah.
You like the noise? Love it. Yeah. This is a proper Mini.
I wasn't expecting this. Pure acceleration. G-forces around the corners. This was an era where advances like four-wheel drive and better brakes meant that speed took on a whole new meaning. Now I can see why they banned Group B cars.
They were wild days, weren't they?
Jesus Christ. Dude.
It was very quiet.
Wow. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Girl, isn't she?
He's a wild boy, this one.
Give it a bit of throttle to get going. That's it. Okay, brake. Good, power, power. Oh, hey!
Wow.
She will bite you. I told you she'd bite.
The sheer power of this motor combined with the primitive technology makes it almost impossible for me to control.
Here's, brake on. Off the clutch, off your... you put your foot on the clutch. Yeah. Try it again. No. Second, off the clutch. Turn in. Power. Yes. Whoa, nearly. Now, you nearly had it that time. You have to work a bit, don't you?
Yeah.
Bit of power. That's it. Hey! Ha! We had it, boy! Good experience for you.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Imagine doing 600 miles in that.
No, can you imagine? You'd be fit, your arms would be like...
That was difficult. It was very difficult.
That was very good. I have to say that for somebody to get into a car of that nature,
and drive it that well was pretty good.
I don't know, man.
That's not makeup.
That's real
not
sweat.
makeup.
And tears all at once. After just one full season of competition, the Metro 6R4 was banned along with the other Group B cars. We had to wait till 2001 for the country's favourite car, now owned by the BMW Group, to return to the world of rallying. The modern Mini is once more one of the world's most iconic rally cars, and taking me for a ride in this one is Louise Cook. But you won a championship, didn't you?
Yeah, I was the first female last year to win an FIA rally title, so really pleased with that.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Louise started at 19, and last year she won the WRC Production Cup.
In a Rover 2000 is Anne Hall.
Female rally drivers have been around since the 30s.
Pat Moss and Elizabeth Nystrom have won first place for cars with all women.
And Louise is leading the next generation.
So this is your modern world rally car now. Obviously there's almost 30 years between this and the 6R4.
Finally, I get to drive the modern Mini.
Now brake, just it, brake, flip it, and now control the slide, that's it.
He's got the feel and the balance of the car straight away, so yeah, it's quite impressive, I must say.
After driving that 6R4, this feels so much easier.
Okay, so braking now, down to third.
Mercifully, this track has plenty of room for the odd mistake. Well, may as well make them now. In a week's time, I travel to Finland to test my rallying skills on a murderously winding gravel track.